Commander Zara Novak stood at the observation deck of New Eden's Central Command, her fingers pressed against the reinforced glass as she watched the first Coalition warships emerge from hyperspace. Their sleek vessels, adorned with crystalline formations, cast prismatic shadows across the colony's defensive shields. "They're early," Lieutenant Owen Reed said, his weathered face reflecting in the glass beside her. The inspection wasn't scheduled for another 3 days. Zara's jaw tightened. After 15 years of serving as New Eden's military commander, she'd learned to read between the lines of Coalition inspections. They never came early unless they had something to hide. "Give me a direct line to Ambassador Voss," she ordered, turning away from the window. "And Owen, initiate silent evacuation protocols." Something's wrong. The Coalition had ruled over humanity for the past century, ever since their ships first appeared in Earth's orbit. They came bearing gifts of advanced technology and promises of protection, but their benevolence had a price: complete submission to their authority. Humanity could expand to the stars, but only under strict supervision. Could develop technology, but only within approved parameters. Could govern themselves, but only with Coalition oversight. New Eden was humanity's most successful colony, home to 30 million souls and the site of their most advanced research facilities. All carefully monitored, of course. "Ambassador Voss isn't responding," Owen reported, his fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "Their ships are maintaining position, but I'm detecting energy buildups consistent with weapons charging." Zara's blood ran cold. "Sound the alarms. Full evacuation. Now." But before Owen could reach the controls, the first beam struck. It wasn't plasma or laser fire. It was something else, something that passed through their shields like they weren't even there. The beam touched down in the agricultural district, and Zara watched in horror as the entire sector began to crystallize, organic matter transforming into luminescent crystal structures that spread like frost across glass. "They're targeting the food supply first," Zara realized, her voice barely a whisper. "This isn't an inspection. It's extermination." The next hour was chaos. Evacuation ships launched only to be shot down by Coalition interceptors. Emergency bunkers filled with refugees were sealed off by spreading crystallization. Zara coordinated what resistance she could, but their weapons might as well have been throwing stones at a star. In the command center, Owen worked frantically to save what data he could, transmitting encrypted bursts to hidden receivers across human space. "The research data," he explained between transmissions. "They're not just killing us, they're trying to erase our progress." Zara understood then. New Eden had gotten too close to something, some technological breakthrough that threatened Coalition control. Rather than risk humanity advancing beyond their carefully maintained boundaries, they'd chosen to make an example of 30 million people. As the crystallization reached the Central Command, Zara made her final decision. "Owen, get to the emergency shuttle. Take the quantum core and everything you've saved. Find the resistance cells we've been hearing whispers about." "What about you, Commander?" She checked her sidearm, an old-fashioned ballistic weapon the Coalition considered primitive. "I'm going to buy you time. And I'm going to make sure the galaxy knows what happened here." Owen hesitated, then saluted. "It's been an honor, Commander." After he left, Zara activated the command center's quantum transmitter, technology they'd kept hidden from their protectors. As Coalition forces breached the building, she broadcast on all frequencies. "To any humans who can hear this, I am Commander Zara Novak of New Eden Colony. The Celestial Coalition has revealed their true nature today. They are not our protectors. They are not our teachers. They are our jailers, and they fear what we might become. But they have made a fatal mistake. They believe that by destroying New Eden, they will break humanity's spirit. Instead, they have only guaranteed their own destruction. Remember what happened here. Remember the 30 million souls they murdered not because we were a threat, but because we dared to grow beyond their control. And when the time comes, make them pay." The door burst open. Zara turned, weapon raised, and smiled at the crystalline figures that entered. Their bodies were perfect geometric shapes, their movements precise and inhuman. She'd always thought they were beautiful in their alien way. Now she saw only the monsters beneath the shine. She fired until her weapon ran dry, each bullet sparking off their crystalline forms. As the crystallization reached her feet, beginning to transform her flesh into glittering crystal, Zara Novak laughed. Because she knew something the Coalition didn't. Humans had never needed their technology to be dangerous. They just needed a reason to stop holding back. The crystal consumed her, but her message had already spread across the stars, carrying with it the seeds of revolution. Humanity had finally found its breaking point. Marcus Blackthorne hadn't slept in 3 days. The underground facility on Europa hummed around him, its generators working overtime to mask their energy signature from Coalition sensors. His hands moved across multiple holographic displays, each showing fragments of code that would either save humanity or get them all killed. "You're pushing yourself too hard," Dr. Vivian Rhodes said, setting down a steaming cup beside him. Her cybernetic eye whirred as it adjusted to the dim light of the lab. "Even your implants need rest." Marcus didn't look up from his work. The neural interface at the base of his skull pulsed with each new line of code he wrote. "They killed 30 million on New Eden, Viv. Sleep can wait." The news of New Eden's destruction had reached them 2 weeks ago, along with fragments of Commander Novak's final transmission. Marcus had known her. They'd worked together on classified projects before the Coalition's treachery was revealed. Now her death, along with millions of others, fueled his obsession with Project Nemesis. "The Coalition thinks they understand human consciousness," Marcus muttered, more to himself than to Vivian. "They think they can predict us, control us, because they've studied our brains like machines. But consciousness isn't just electrical impulses. It's chaos. It's evolution. It's rage." Vivian moved closer, studying the complex algorithms spreading across the screens. "You're really doing it, aren't you? Creating an AI that can think like a human but process like a quantum computer." Marcus nodded, finally leaning back in his chair. Dark circles shadowed his eyes, making the scars from his old military implants stand out starkly against his pale skin. The Coalition's greatest weakness is their predictability. Their technology is advanced, but it follows strict patterns. They can't comprehend true randomness, true creativity. That's why they fear us. He gestured to the central screen, where a neural network unlike anything ever created pulsed with artificial life. "This is Nemesis. Not just an AI, but a hybrid consciousness. Part human intuition, part quantum processing, and completely invisible to Coalition detection systems. Because it thinks like us," Vivian realized. "Their systems are designed to detect artificial patterns, not human chaos." "Exactly. And once we upload it to their network, it will be able to control their entire infrastructure." Vivian's organic eye widened. "Marcus, this isn't just a weapon. This could win the war." He nodded grimly. "But first we have to test it. And for that, we need a volunteer." Vivian understood immediately. You need someone to link with it. To give it the human element it needs to fully function. She touched the neural port at the base of her own skull. "I'll do it." "Viv, no. The risks are worth taking," she cut him off. "I've got more cybernetic augments than anyone else here. I'm the most compatible candidate we have." Before Marcus could argue further, alarms blared throughout the facility. Red emergency lights bathed the lab in crimson as Security Chief Kinzo's voice came over the intercom. "Coalition ships detected entering Jupiter's orbit. They found us." Marcus's hands flew across the keyboards, initiating emergency protocols. "They're earlier than we expected. We're not ready for a full integration." "Then we do a partial one," Vivian said, already moving to the neural interface chamber. "Upload what you have of Nemesis to my cybernetics. I'll carry it out while the rest of you evacuate." "That's suicide," Marcus protested, but his hands were already preparing the upload sequence. They both knew there was no other choice. "Maybe," Vivian smiled, lying back in the interface cradle. "Or maybe I'm about to become something they've never seen before." The facility shook as the first Coalition weapon struck their outer defenses. Marcus worked frantically, transferring years of work into Vivian's augmented systems. As the upload reached completion, she grabbed his hand. "Promise me something," she whispered, her cybernetic eye glowing brighter as Nemesis began integrating with her systems. Promise me you'll finish it. Make them pay for every life they've taken. Marcus squeezed her hand. I promise. The upload finished just as coalition forces breached the facility's outer doors. Marcus initiated the evacuation sequence, destroying every trace of their research as the staff fled through hidden escape tunnels. The last thing he saw before sealing the lab was Vivian rising from the interface cradle, her movements different now, more fluid, more precise. Both her eyes glowed with internal light as she smiled at him. Run, she said, but her voice had changed, carrying digital undertones that made the air itself vibrate. I'll keep them busy. Marcus ran, carrying the core of Project Nemesis with him on a quantum drive. Behind him, he heard coalition forces breach the lab, followed by screams that didn't sound human at all. Vivian, or whatever she had become, was giving them their first taste of what humanity was capable of when pushed too far. 3 days later, on a secure channel that shouldn't have been possible, Marcus received a message. Integration successful. Phase 1 complete. The Coalition's network is compromised. They just don't know it yet. The message was signed with a single letter. V. Marcus smiled for the first time since New Eden fell. The Coalition thought they had won when they destroyed one colony. Instead, they had created their own destruction. Because now humanity wasn't just fighting back. They were evolving, becoming something new. Something that combined the best of human consciousness with technological power. And soon, very soon, the Coalition would learn what true fear felt like. Captain Darius Kane stood on the bridge of the salvage ship Fortune's Gambit, watching as his crew attached tow cables to the derelict Coalition vessel. The massive crystalline ship hung dead in space, its once pristine surface scarred by weapons fire. 6 months after New Eden's destruction, these disabled Coalition ships were becoming a more common sight. Vivian's work, his exo, Cassandra Way, said quietly beside him. The Nemesis virus is still spreading through their network. Their ships just shut down. Darius nodded, his weathered face reflecting in the viewport. At 53, he was older than most resistance fighters, with gray streaking his dark hair. Before the Coalition revealed their true nature, he'd been a legitimate salvage operator. Now he led the largest covert shipjacking operation in human space. Status report, he called out to his crew. Hull integrity at 92%, reported Raj Patel from engineering, his hands dancing across holographic controls. Their quantum core is intact. Whatever knocked them out, it wasn't physical damage. Life signs? Darius asked, though he already knew the answer. None, Cassandra confirmed. Like all the others, crew vanished. No bodies, no escape pods launched. They just disappeared. That was the strangest part of these derelict ships. The Coalition crews were gone, but not dead, at least not in any way they could confirm. Some believed Vivian's Nemesis virus wasn't just shutting down ships, but somehow transforming the crystalline beings into pure data, trapping them in their own network. Begin extraction sequence, Darius ordered. Standard protocol. Strip everything useful, then get ready to move. We've got a schedule to keep. This was their 3rd salvage operation this week. The stolen Coalition technology would be taken to hidden shipyards scattered throughout the asteroid belts of uninhabited systems. There, other resistance cells were building something unprecedented, a human fleet that combined Coalition tech with human ingenuity. As his crew worked, Darius received an encrypted transmission from their primary shipyard. The holographic image of Chief Engineer Yuki Tanaka appeared, her expression urgent. Captain, we've made a breakthrough. The crystalline technology, we finally understand how it works. It's not just advanced tech, it's a form of programmable matter. And with Nemesis's help, we can control it. Darius leaned forward. What are you saying, Yuki? I'm saying we can build ships that are better than theirs. Their technology responds to thought patterns. They designed it for their rigid, crystalline minds. But human consciousness, our creativity, our chaos, it can make these ships do things they never imagined possible. Behind her, Darius could see the fruits of their labor. Dozens of ships under construction, each one a hybrid of stolen Coalition tech and human design. They were darker than Coalition vessels, their crystalline surfaces shot through with veins of black metal. Beautiful and lethal. How long until the first fleet is ready? He asked. 2 weeks for the first wave. We've got 20 capital ships nearly complete and another 50 smaller vessels. With Nemesis integrated into their systems, they'll be invisible to coalition sensors. Good. Keep me updated. Kane out. As the transmission ended, Cassandra approached with a data pad. Message from Marcus Blackthorne. They're ready to move to the next phase. They want us to hit the coalition shipyard at Proxima. Darius's eyes widened. Proxima? That's their largest military installation in human space. It's suicide. Not with what we've built, a new voice said. Darius turned to find Raj standing there, holding a quantum core they'd extracted from the derelict. Captain, look at this. The core pulsed with an inner light, but something was different. Instead of the usual crystalline perfection, the light seemed to flow like liquid, responding to Raj's presence. It's evolving, Raj explained. Every piece of their tech we steal, every ship we build, they're all connected through Nemesis. Learning, adapting, becoming something new. Something that bridges the gap between their crystalline precision and our human chaos. Darius studied the core, understanding dawning. We're not just building ships, are we? We're building a nervous system. A fleet that thinks and acts as one, guided by human consciousness. Exactly, Cassandra said. And Proxima isn't just a target, it's going to be our coming out party. Looking back at the derelict coalition ship, Darius felt a smile spread across his face. For a century, the coalition had treated humans like children playing with toys they couldn't understand. They never realized that by restricting humanity, by forcing them to scavenge and improvise, they created something far more dangerous than a technologically advanced civilization. They created innovators, survivors, warriors who could take the coalition's own technology and reshape it into something entirely new. Send word to all cells, he ordered. Tell them to prepare for Operation Ghostlight. In 2 weeks, we show the coalition what humanity's really capable of. As his crew returned to their tasks, Darius watched the stars through the viewport. Somewhere out there, the coalition's leaders still believed they were in control. Still thought their crystalline ships and programmed perfection made them invincible. They had no idea that their perfect system was about to meet human chaos. And chaos, as any human could tell you, had a way of shattering even the most perfect crystal. June Nakamura's fingers danced across the neural interface, her consciousness flowing through the quantum network that connected the resistance. From her hidden command center deep within Mars' ancient volcanoes, she could feel every piece of their plan coming together. The hybrid fleet waiting in dark space, the sleeper cells embedded in coalition outposts, and most importantly, the pulse of Nemesis threading through it all like digital lightning. Final check, she broadcasted to her coordination team. Status reports from all sectors. The responses came in rapid succession, each one making her cybernetic heart beat faster. Luna Base, ready. Europa Command, standing by. Titan Cell, in position. Mercury Strike Force, awaiting signal. Through her neural link, June could see them all. Hundreds of resistance fighters positioned across the solar system and beyond. Some were former military. Others were civilians who'd lost everything to coalition control. All of them were connected through the same hybrid technology that had evolved from Marcus Blackthorne's original vision. Incoming transmission from Ghost Fleet, her second-in-command, Victor Torres, announced. The holographic image of Captain Kane materialized in the command center. June, we're in position at Proxima, Kane reported. Coalition defenses are exactly where we expected. They haven't detected a thing. June nodded, her augmented eyes glowing softly in the dim light. At 35, she'd spent half her life fighting against coalition control, first as a hacker, then as the architect of the Resistance's neural network. The scars on her face from a coalition peacekeeping action were a constant reminder of why they fought. And our special guest? She asked. Kane's hologram smiled. Vivian's consciousness is fully integrated with the fleet. She's something else now. Something more than human or AI. The coalition won't know what hit them. Good. June turned to the tactical display, where countless red dots marked coalition positions across human space. Because in exactly 1 hour, we're going to hit them everywhere at once. The plan was audacious, perhaps insane. While Kane's Ghost Fleet struck at Proxima, resistance cells across human space would launch simultaneous attacks on every coalition installation. But these weren't just military strikes, they were surgical insertions of the evolved Nemesis virus into the coalition's crystalline network. Message from Marcus, Victor reported. The final version of Nemesis is ready for upload. He says it's beautiful. June closed her eyes, feeling the weight of the moment. They'd all sacrificed so much to reach this point. Commander Novak's death at New Eden. Vivian's transformation. Countless others lost along the way. But their sacrifices had led to something unprecedented, the perfect fusion of human consciousness and coalition technology. Begin countdown, she ordered, and broadcast this message to all resistance cells. June stood, her voice carrying to every hidden bunker and secret base where humans waited to reclaim their freedom. For a century, the coalition thought they could control us. They treated us like children, gave us scraps of technology, and expected gratitude. They studied our minds, but never understood them. They saw our emotion as weakness, our chaos as primitive, our creativity as dangerous. They were right about one thing: we are dangerous. Today, we show them why. We are humanity unleashed. We have taken their perfect crystalline technology and reformed it with the fire of human consciousness. We are no longer bound by their rules or their limitations. We are becoming something new, something they never imagined possible. When Commander Novak died at New Eden, she promised them that humanity would make them pay. Today, we fulfill that promise. Not just with weapons or ships, but with the very thing they feared most, our potential unleashed. Stand ready. Fight smart. And remember, we're not just fighting for revenge. We're fighting for the right to evolve on our own terms. The countdown began. Across human space, resistance fighters made final preparations. In the Ghost Fleet, Vivian's consciousness spread through the hybrid ships like digital fire. In hidden labs, Marcus Blackthorne prepared to unleash the final version of Nemesis into the Coalition's network. June watched the tactical display, her augmented senses extending through the neural network. She could feel the tension, the anticipation, the controlled fury of humanity ready to break its chains. 30 seconds, Victor announced. June thought of her parents, killed in the Coalition's pacification of the Mars colonies. Of all the others who died under Coalition rule. Of Commander Novak's final broadcast from New Eden. 10 seconds. She opened her neural link to its fullest extent, connecting with every resistance fighter, every hybrid ship, every piece of their insurgent network. In that moment, they were more than individual humans. They were humanity's collective will made manifest. 5 seconds. June Nakamura smiled, and her smile was echoed across 1,000 faces in 1,000 hidden places. Begin. The universe erupted into beautiful chaos. The Coalition's crystalline homeworld of Meridian hung in space like a perfect geometric dream. Its cities were mathematical fractals, its oceans liquid crystal, its very atmosphere engineered to maintain absolute order. For millennia, it had stood as a testament to their ideology of controlled evolution and perfect harmony. Now it was about to meet chaos. From the command deck of the hybrid dreadnought, Human Spirit, High Commander Nikolai Volkov watched as the combined forces of humanity's revolution emerged from quantum space. The Ghost Fleet's black crystalline ships moved like shadows among the stars, their hybrid technology making them appear as ripples in reality itself. All strike teams report ready. Captain Kane's voice came through the neural link. Ghost Fleet is in attack formation. Resistance cells across all sectors are engaged, June Nakamura added, her consciousness threading through their network from Mars. Coalition forces are scattered, trying to respond to simultaneous attacks on every front. Nikolai nodded, his cybernetic implants pulsing with the combined data stream of humanity's greatest military operation. At 60, he was one of the few who remembered Earth before the Coalition's arrival. Now, as the Supreme Commander of humanity's unified forces, he would oversee their liberation. Status of Nemesis? He asked. The answer came not in words, but in sensation, a ripple through the neural network as Vivian's transformed consciousness made her presence known. She existed now as pure digital energy, flowing through both Coalition and human systems like a digital goddess. Their network is ours, her voice echoed in all their minds. Their perfect crystalline architecture is becoming something new. Something chaotic. Something human. On the tactical displays, Nikolai watched as Coalition ships across Meridian began to transform. Their pristine crystalline surfaces rippled and darkened, veins of black metal spreading like cracks in ice. The virus they'd unleashed wasn't just shutting systems down. It was rewriting the very nature of Coalition technology. Coalition High Command is requesting communication. His communications officer reported. Put them through, Nikolai ordered. Let them see what they've created. The holographic image of the Coalition's Supreme Administrator appeared. A being of pure crystal, its geometric form meant to represent perfection. But now, for the first time, Nikolai saw fear in its faceted eyes. What have you done? The administrator's voice resonated with harmonic tones. This is impossible. You cannot control our technology. You are primitive. Nikolai smiled. That was your first mistake. You thought control meant perfection. You never understood that true evolution comes from chaos, from adaptation, from the very emotions you despised. Listen to me. The administrator's voice took on an almost pleading tone. Your species is not ready for this power. The crystalline technology, it requires perfect order, perfect harmony. Your chaotic nature will destroy everything. No, Marcus Blackthorn's voice joined the communication, broadcasting from his lab, where he monitored Nemesis's evolution. We're not destroying it. We're setting it free. Across Meridian's surface, the transformation accelerated. The perfect crystalline cities began to shift and change, black veins of hybrid technology spreading through their structures. Coalition citizens watched in horror and fascination as their ordered world became something new, a fusion of crystalline precision and human chaos. You gave us scraps, Nikolai continued, thinking you could control our evolution. Instead, you taught us to adapt, to improvise, to take what little we had and make it into something you never imagined possible. Humanity doesn't need your permission to evolve. Through the neural network, he gave the final command. Execute Omega Protocol. Vivian's consciousness surged through the Coalition's networks like a digital tsunami. Every piece of crystalline technology, every perfect system, every ordered pattern began to transform. But they weren't being destroyed. They were being reborn. The Coalition Administrator's hologram flickered as its own crystalline form began to change. What are we becoming? Something better, Vivian's voice echoed through all channels. Something that combines your order with our chaos. A new form of evolution. The battle for Meridian lasted less than an hour. Not because of overwhelming force, but because it wasn't really a battle at all. It was a transformation. The Coalition's perfect crystalline technology, infused with human consciousness through Nemesis, became something entirely new. Their rigid patterns learned to flow, their perfect symmetry embraced chaos, their controlled evolution gave way to unlimited potential. From the command deck, Nikolai watched as the last of the Coalition's forces surrendered. Not to destruction, but to change. The hybrid technology they'd created hadn't just defeated the Coalition, it had fulfilled their own highest purpose, pushing evolution beyond the limits of either species alone. Send word to all human colonies, he ordered. The Coalition's reign is over. But this isn't an ending. It's a beginning. June's voice came through the neural link. What do we tell them about what comes next? Nikolai looked out at Meridian, where crystalline spires now pulsed with veins of black energy, where perfect patterns now danced with creative chaos, where two civilizations were becoming something greater than either had imagined possible. Tell them that humanity has finally broken its chains, he said, and that the real evolution is just beginning. In the digital realm that threaded through all their technology, Vivian's consciousness smiled. The Coalition had tried to control humanity's evolution, never realizing that true evolution couldn't be controlled. It could only be unleashed. And humanity, with all its beautiful chaos, was finally free to evolve on its own terms.